Today I will discuss about tropical cyclones. In this chapter, I shall discuss about the tropical cyclones, characteristics, formations of tropical cyclone, weather associated with tropical cyclone, distribution of tropical cyclone management, and various other issues related to tropical cyclone. As a whole, we encounter various types of temperature, humidity and cloud cast sky identified with weather phenomena each day. Have you ever seen that there are changes in pattern of weather events in a yearly cycle? Contingent upon where you live, there could be various causes behind that. You have just learned about the planetary winds patterns and shifting of wind belts. You are likewise very much aware of the air masses and front developments. These atmospheric occurrences in the mid-latitude make conditions for the advancement of cyclonic conditions. At whatever point they create, various changes are seen in more limited range of time, say someday or a week. They are named as temperate cyclone or frontal cyclone. This module examines about the improvement of cyclone, the related climate and their dissemination over the globe. Cyclones are the center of low pressure surrounded by closed isobars having increasing pressure outward and closed air circulation from outside towards the central low pressure in such a way that air blows inward anti-clockwise in the northern hemisphere and clockwise in the southern hemisphere. Cyclones are also termed as atmospheric disturbances. The shape of the cyclones ranges from circular to elliptical to V shape. The cyclones are divided into broad categories as per their location of the origin. For example, tropical cyclone and extratropical cyclone, which are also known as temperate cyclones. So now let me explain you the tropical cyclones. Majorly, what are their characteristics? The cyclones which develop between the tropics of Capricorn and Cancer are called tropical cyclones. These cyclones are not regular and uniform like temperate cyclones. The tropical cyclones have multiple variety in form of size, shape, velocity and weather conditions associated with them. The weather condition of low latitude, particularly rainfall regimes, are more or less controlled by tropical cyclones. These salient features of tropical cyclones are: the first one is size of tropical cyclone, that is not uniform and it varies considerably from one cyclone to other. Often average diameter of these cyclones ranges from 80 km to 300 km. Second is speed. The speed of tropical cyclone also varies a lot. The velocity of weak cyclones remains at 32 km per hour, while the hurricanes go up to velocity of 180 km per hour. The third one is the tropical cyclones receive their strength from moisture. Therefore, they remain very strong over the ocean and become weak while moving over the land surface. This is why tropical cyclones mostly impact the coastal areas. The fourth is the center of the cyclone has very low pressure. The isobars are circular and lesser in number. Steep pressure gradient allows the higher velocity of the winds gushing towards the center of the cyclones and attaining very high velocity. The fifth is tropical cyclones does not have varying temperature in its different parts, unlike temperate cyclones which are characterized with cold and warm front. There are no divided rainfall cells in the tropical cyclones. Rainfall occur from all parts of the cyclone. The tracks of tropical cyclone is not always predictable and it keeps changing. Normally, these cyclones from east to west due to trade winds. However, the general condition is westerly up to 15° latitude from the equator. Another characteristic is tropical cyclones arise normally in summer season of the year. tropical cyclone become very hazardous due to very high wind velocity, high intensity of rainfall, low atmospheric pressure causes rise in sea level for some days. Now let me explain you the formation of tropical cyclones. You can refer this figure and then you will understand better what I am trying to explain it to you. Tropical cyclones are like a heat engine that receives its energy from latent heat of condensation. They develop due to low pressure of thermal origin. Tropical cyclone develop when following situations develop in an area. The first is there should be constant supply of warm and moist air. The ocean surface temperature should be around 27 degrees centigrade during summers. For the motion of the moisture air and formation of a cyclone, good strength of 𝗂𝗽𝗍𝗁 forces is required. Coriolis force is absent at equator and very low in the belt of 5 degree to 8 degree latitude. This is the reason tropical cyclones are not formed in the belt. Normally, tropical cyclones are limited to 5 to 20 degree latitude in the western part of the oceans. Tropical cyclones are associated with intertropical convergence zones, which is also known as ITCZ, in the 5 degree to 30 degree north during summers. Pre-existing weak tropical disturbances intensify and ultimately develop into high intensity violent tropical cyclones. Another condition is that there should be anticyclonic conditions at the height of 9 to 15 km above the surface disturbances that leads to sucking of the air from ocean surface, intensifying low pressure at the surface. Let me explain the weather associated with tropical cyclone. So, you please refer this particular picture and you will understand what I am trying to explain it to you. The arrival of tropical cyclones brings sudden increase in the temperature and wind velocity, marked reduction in the air pressure, presence of cirrus and cirrus stratus clouds and emerging higher wave in the ocean. Tropical cyclone yields up to 250 millimeter of rainfall. However, it may increase up to 750 to 1000 millimeter if cyclones are obstructed by some relief barrier. So, the thick and dark thundering clouds reduces the visibility to zero. With the arrival of the eye center of the cyclone, winds become calm, sky gets cleared, no rainfall with stable weather conditions prevail. However, these weather conditions are for only half an hour with the advancement of rare portion of the cyclone. The weather changes suddenly, again bringing heavy rainfall and previous conditions associated with this. Let me explain the distribution of tropical cyclone. Major concentration of tropical cyclone is found between 5 degree to 15 degree latitude in both the hemisphere. The breeding grounds for tropical cyclone coincide with tropical regions with warm ocean currents. Western Pacific, in other words, I can say highest number of tropical cyclone, these occurs in the Western Pacific region. Philippines Island, Eastern China and Japan, where they are called as typhoons. These are the known region for tropical cyclone. Apart from that, Western Atlantic, Southeast Caribbean region and Eastern Pacific, where they are called as hurricanes. Bay of Bengal and Arabian Sea, where these are called as cyclones. Around Southeast African coast and Madagascar, Mauritius Island, in Northwest Australia also the tropical cyclones can be found. Now, after seeing the different pictures, you may be thinking what is this path of tropical cyclone, because it is in a different manner. So, let me explain you that. Tropical cyclones generally follow a parabolic path with a parabolic axis being parallel to the isobars. Coriolis forces easterly and westerly winds and upper tropospheric westerly through influence the path of tropical cyclones. In the northern hemisphere, tropical cyclones start with a westward movement as the zone of formation is under the influence of easterlies. Easterlies are also known as the trade winds. The average speed is 15 to 20 km per hour. On an average, I can say 360 to 480 km per day. Then they turn northward around 20° latitude because of the Coriolis forces that deflects the path of the storm to its right. Their speed decreases to 10 km per hour or even less. They turn further northeastward at around 25° latitude. Coriolis forces deflects it further. Then they turn eastward around 30° latitude because of the westerly winds. The westward movement is fast stand. They attain speed of 25 km per hour or even more. Then they lose energy and subside beyond 30° latitude because of cool ocean waters and increasing wind shear due to westerlies. In some instances, a tropical cyclone may avoid the general path and continue with its westward movement. Sometimes tropical cyclones are stalled near coastline, dropping unprecedented amount of rainfall. This could happen due to weak prevailing winds linked to a greatly expanded subtropical high pressure system and northward migration of westerlies. You can refer this particular figure and try to understand the cyclone path, what I was trying to explain. Regional names for tropical cyclone. As I mentioned that these tropical cyclones are known by different names in different regions. The naming of tropical cyclone is a recent phenomena. The process of naming cyclones involves several countries in the region and is done under the aegis of World Meteorological Organization, that is also known as WMO. For the Indian Ocean region, a formula for naming cyclones was agreed upon in 2004. 8 countries in the region, Bangladesh, India, Maldives, Myanmar, Oman, Pakistan, Sri Lanka and Thailand all contributed a set of names which are assigned sequentially whenever a cyclonic storm develops. Apart from that, different other nations they also named these cyclones. They are also known as Fani, Amphan. These are among the names of the cyclones in the Indian Ocean region. Now let me explain you worldwide terminology of tropical cyclone. They are given many names in different regions of the world. For example, they are known as typhoons in the China Sea and Pacific Ocean. They are known as hurricanes in the West Indian Islands, in Caribbean Sea and Atlantic Oceans, tornado in the Guyana lands of West Africa and southern USA, willy-willies in northwestern Australia, and tropical cyclones in Indian Ocean. So these are the different nomenclature in the different parts of the words, but the characteristic and different phenomena associated with tropical cyclone, these remains same as I explained. Now there are different scales to measure the tropical cyclone. That is also knot, K-N-O-T. Knot is a unit of speed equal to 1 nautical miles, that is 1.852 km per hour. A vessel travelling at 1 knot along a meridian travels approximately 1 minute of geographic latitude in 1 hour. So if I say 1 international knot, that means that 1 international knot is equal to 1 nautical mile per hour, that is 1.852 km per hour, or I can say is also equal to 0.514 meters per second. So whenever we are talking about, whenever you see different types of cyclone occurring at a place, and when you hear that what was the speed of the cyclone, you can estimate or you can calculate the speed through what I explained it to you. cyclones in India. Tropical cyclone originate over the Bay of Bengal, Arabian Sea and the Indian Oceans. These tropical cyclones have very high wind velocity and heavy rainfall and hit the Indian coastal states of Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh, West Bengal, Orissa and Gujarat. These 5 states are more vulnerable to cyclones disaster than any other state in India. Most of these cyclones are very destructive due to high wind velocity and torrential rainfall that accompanies it. There are 3 elements associated with cyclone which causes destruction during its occurrence. The first one is strong winds, or it is also known as squall. It damages installations, dwellings, communication system, trees, etc., resulting in loss of life and property too. The second one is torrential rains and island flooding. This rain is a serious problem for the people who become shelterless due to cyclones. Heavy rain is usually spread over a wide area and causes large-scale soil erosion and weakening of embankments. So it's very dangerous for the people who did not get the shelter and they try to hide behind any embankment, but the problem is that because of the soil erosion, again their life remains in threat. And the third is the storm surge. It is an abnormal rise of sea level near the coast caused by several tropical cyclones. Due to storm surge, sea water inundates low-lying areas of coastal regions, drawing human beings and livestock, causes eroding beaches and embankments, destroys vegetation and leads to reduction of soil fertility. Management of cyclones. There are many structural and non-structural measures for effective disaster management of cyclones. The structural measures include construction of cyclone shelters, construction of cyclonic resistant buildings, road links, bridges, canals, drains, saline embankments, surface water tanks, communications, power transmission networks, etc. Whereas non-structural measures like early warning dissemination system, management of coastal zones, awareness generation and disaster risk management, and definitely capacity building of all the stakeholders involved in this. So these measures are being adopted and tackled on a state-to-state basis under the National Cyclone Risk Mitigation Project, that is also known as NCRMP, being implemented through World Bank assistance. And there are different programs in India as well as at international level. You can read different articles related to disaster risk reduction, mitigation of tropical cyclones, and then you will come to know about different plans of central government as well as I mentioned that World Bank is assisting many countries in this connection. Increased rainfall from cyclone helps river system clear out silt, carve out new channels and open up areas to inundation of the wetlands, boosting both nesting and food resources. As I mentioned about hurricanes passage demonstrate how strong and destructive they can be, creating a scene of devastation and death that we often see on the television. Some tropical cyclones may have beneficial effects on land and oceans, despite the fact that it might seem unlikely or difficult to believe. They will, for example, carry rain to drought-stricken regions, increases the flow of river and streams, dragging waste with them, restore aquifers, help balance ocean heats and drag nutrients into the sea. Heat balance is one of the most significant variable in this connection. Greenhouse gases combine with natural forces to raise ocean temperature, and nature seems to shield itself from hurricanes. Tropical cyclone in general serve as the planet's cooling mechanism and aid in temperature regulations. For example, hurricanes Katrina and Rita cooled the waters in their course to 4 degrees Celsius in 2005 according to NASA satellite data. So, what is very important is to practice the disaster risk reduction plans and policy at national and international level, so that we can face the negative impact as less as possible.